Hello, my fellow RC addicts. Just wanted to make a quick video for you guys on how I did my little hanging plane stand here. Been a pretty convenient way to get my planes up out of the way and in a decent spot. This guy's all by himself because he's my only balsa, so I just built him a little standalone stand, and then this guy took a little doing. Those are straps from some ratchet straps that weren't really connected to a ratchet, so I stole them to hang this 50cc Aeroworks Extra up. And this plane is well outside my skill set, but I've got a really awesome group of guys out to my fly field that have been helping me quite along quite quickly, man. I'm very grateful. Yeah, can't really put a price on that. But I just made this real quick out of some half-inch PVC. And that's just a little bit of Gorilla tape, I believe is what I used. And then wrapped them half-inch brackets around it and just screwed it right to the bottom of the floor, top of the beams. And it worked out really good as an anchor spot. And this kind of eyeballed everything, so I can't really give any dimensions on how long anything is, but I want to say these pieces here are about 8 inches, and then these pieces here I want to say are about 14 sticking out, and then the foam's just a few inches back. That's just some foam I cut up and threw on there. I used, it seemed like the electric tape worked a little bit better than the two-sided tape I did on this guy. But that's just some old packing from planes, man, and it works pretty good. Not a bad solution to kind of make yourself a little more room, and then you have a reason to tell your wife why you need another plane, because you get all this extra room, man. And they piece together stupid easy. Just put a little bit of electric tape on the ends there just in case I get a little crazy while putting it in horizontally. It's not a very sturdy stand, but I mean these things don't weigh much. So, and then just went L's on the bottom. So T's for each stagger point. Stagger this way, stagger that way. And at the bottom, just to kind of hold everything steady, I just put a couple elbows in there with a piece in between. And that made a pretty big difference. Actually got this idea from one of the guys I follow on YouTube about all this craziness. It's Brian Phillips RC is the name of his channel. And man, he's helped me out a lot. I've learned a lot from that guy. He does everything from unbox to assembly to radio setup. And when you're brand new, oh, it's helpful. So helpful. And a lot of these planes I got just because of watching what he got so excited about and happy flying. And some of the videos, you can tell he's not too thrilled about it, but he doesn't really talk bad too much, especially about Horizon. But you can tell when he loves a plane. So those are kind of the planes that I kind of started with. I actually started with the Valiant. That plane taught me a lot, man. And then my second plane was the Sportix. That thing has also taught me a lot because it's not quite a 3D plane, but talk about a really good sport trainer. Flies amazing. And then next I got this big bastard, actually the 1.5 turbo timber. And holy crap. Slow, not the most agile, but man, it's crazy how floaty and stable it can be. Fly this guy on a 3200 4S. And then all these are pretty much 4S except for the Valiant. He's 3S. But everything else is pretty much 4S, running on anything from a 2200 to a 3200. And I think this guy probably takes a little bit bigger battery. But for the most part, everybody else runs on the same juice except for the 3S Valiant. And this guy actually runs on 6S. I yanked out the old electronics because one of the OG gentlemen from my fly club has just a ridiculous collection. If you've been in this hobby for any amount of time, I'm sure you understand. But gave me a heck of a deal, man, on this plane. And I believe it's like a Cessna Piper or something like that. I'm not exactly even sure. But man, this is my only balsa plane that's electric, and holy smokes, does it fly incredible. That thing is a blast, and takes just a small 3300 6S is what I fly him on. Commander, I actually fly him on a 27 or 29, that fancy new 2900 from Spectrum. It's a G2 battery, which, I don't know. I don't mind having a balance lead, but those G2 batteries are actually pretty handy. And then I got this guy most recently. Haven't really flown him much because he kind of scares the crap out of me. Definitely another plane that's a little outside my skill set, but that's one thing that's cool about being a part of a fly club, because those guys have been doing it so long. They have a way, at least a few of them have a way of bringing the best out of you and kind of pushing you outside your comfort zone when necessary. So it's been an experience, man. Absolutely have had a blast with these planes. And if you've been in the RC for a long time on the car side, I'm telling you, buy a crappy little cheap one because you're going to crash it, and just get the basics figured out. And man, it's just so rewarding. It's so much fun. Like the first time you land one of these without crashing it, it's like the best feeling. And then before you know it, you can do it almost every time. I don't find a lot of wind though, so definitely keep that in mind. I wait for calm days, especially learning. And my wife and I, we did recently move out here to Pueblo West, and I haven't really had a chance to show anybody my new RC room, so you guys are seeing it first here. You win, Beans. So this is actually the plane that my wife bought for me on Valentine's Day. It was on sale on Horizon, and I crashed the shit out of it. And you can barely tell because of all of the CA and the glue and everything else that I've had to put on this thing to get it back together. But it still flies. And then I bought a backup just in case, because it is quite a learning curve, man. But I've actually yet to fly this little guy. These are just 700 millimeter UMXs. Both Turbo Timber Evolutions, and I have the big red version of this guy downstairs. So this is what it now looks like in the new RC room. Bits and bobs, all that good stuff. The dragsters. And got a boat since we live next to a reservoir. Those are actually my wife's, the Bigfoot and the pink Vortex. That's my couch crawler. Couple helis. Love that little Nano. And then we got the XRT. And that is my 12S X Max. I actually run that on a Max 5 with the 800 kV Castle motor. So it's sensorless, but yeah, that one's ran on 12S. And then this guy is my newest one. And that's, I believe, is a 32cc gasser by Losi. It's the Losi DBXL version 2, blah, 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 blah. And then this is my other X Max. I have this one running a lot lighter because I've got heavy duty springs on it, and I've mostly built it for sending pretty sky high. So it's just got a 8S system in him. It's a 1650 kV Castle setup with the Mamba Monster X. And then this guy is my 8S Creighton that I've had forever, and I have this chassis to put on it when it goes bad or bends on the 6061, but it's still pretty straight as an arrow, so I haven't really messed with it much. Just got what is it? I'm trying to think. I believe it's the 1260 kV motor of Castles. That's smaller than the 800 kV and the 1200 and all that stuff, but it's a little bit higher RPM motor, or I'm sorry, 1100. I don't think they have a 1200, but that's hooked to an XLX2, man, and that thing screams. It is so much fun. And then this guy has the old school XLX2 with the 1100 kV, and it is quite fast too. That's EXB Arma Creighton 8S roller that I built up. And then let's see, I got my nitros right here. All my nitros, those are both Kyosho. And then had to have a Traxxas, of course, because they're just so freaking bulletproof on the nitro side. Their motors are very reliable. And then an HPI at the top there, the old Savage X. And then coming down over here is a UDR. Just a 2200 Hobby Wing setup in him, but quite the boost over stock. And this guy's pretty special. This is probably my fastest car, XLX2 with the big KV motor that's 8S capable. Is it a 2400? The one that has no warranty or anything. And then an OG Revo 1650 combo in hobby wing in him. This guy's got the old school Mamba X, the 6S one with a 2200. Same setup on this guy. And then this guy has the MMX 8S with the 1650, and actually the same thing on the Felony. And then the Infraction, I believe, is also a 1650 setup. Sledge is actually all stock electronics. The only thing I did was when I upgraded the XRT, I put his 8S ESC into Sledge, and it did open it up quite a bit. Still just run it on 6S with the stock motor. And all I did was put the Basher Queen shock towers on it, and it has been bulletproof, man. Those stock ones bent pretty easily. But now with the hobby or Basher Queen ones, man, it really hasn't had any misfortunes. Here's an old school Typhon. I'm actually running the G2 Hobby Wing 2200 censored setup on that guy, but just run him on 6S. And then my OG Creighton. Had this thing a long time. I've actually got him set up for drag more than anything. Got a big old wheelie bar on the back there. And it's actually the old motor out of this X-Max from years ago. And then I just put a Max 6 in him and run him on some pretty small 8S batteries, some 3300 4S in series. And gets down the road in short order, man. It's actually quite quick. And that's pretty much it. That's the new setup. This is my quote-unquote hobby room. And I did set my wife up a desk in here. You can tell that's the only wall with nothing on it. And I've promised her that I will leave that side of the room alone for her to do her stuff, which is mostly wood burning, and she's a lot more artistic than I am. I'm more of a build things, tear it down, fix it type of guy. So this is my side of the RC room. It's pretty close, you know, not a big difference, so wouldn't worry about it. But I appreciate everybody coming by to check out the new pad, man, and hopefully I gave you a good idea on how to build a cool shelf for your planes. Beansy, tell them peace out, dog.